Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center. Welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where we are inside today as it is raining. We haven't seen rain in so long here, and it was a bit of an interesting drive here today. It was raining so hard you could barely see in front of you in broad daylight. But we made it. I made it. And I have to say, more than ever, when you're in a situation that makes you feel a little bit less secure, I have never felt so supported as we continue to step further and further into this new world, as we continue to be reminded and yet also had new doors opened for us many times a week here through the Advancement Center. It's become almost a constant ride out into the outer reaches of the universe, beyond that, back again, take a fly around the globe, fly over the mountains and the trees, and then come back and be in your chair. And it all happens in a fraction of a second. It's pretty fun. And speaking of fun, what's today? I lose track of what day it is. Yesterday was Robert's broadcast. It had an effect on me. It's always different. But what it did is it brought back what had just happened, my experience of my day at work the night before. And it popped in again this morning for me. And I realized at one point there was a gentleman with a party of maybe 4 women and himself that I'd taken to dinner, and I was picking them up in the house car for the hotel. And he was so funny. He was making fun of the woman that called for their pickup, because I had to drive by a couple of times by their restaurant picking up other people. Everyone on this occasion called virtually at the same time. But when I picked them up, he would not stop, basically making fun of how this woman in his party kept calling over and over again. And this morning, it made me think of comedians. One of the reasons they're so funny is they state what no one else will say, but we're all thinking. And so when someone actually comes out and says it, it's just hysterical. It's like your funny bone has been hit. And the car was just erupting with laughter, especially me. My stomach was hurting. I was laughing so hard. In fact, the woman who was being made fun of gave me a hug as she's getting out of the car as we returned to the hotel. But no buts. That's just the joy of life. And we all love laughter. And being raised here in this country, it also occurred to me how serious everyone here is. There's other parts of the world, especially Australia. I love Australians. They tend to have, in other countries as well, where there's just laughter all the time, because there's no there's nothing stopping being able to laugh at oneself, being able to laugh at one's own seriousness. And as we drift, not just drift, fly further into the world of magic and miracles, I just feel that lightness growing. And as we become more aware of our own gifts, but there's more. One of the things that just about blew my mind yesterday was the mention of we always hear about our support system, but this time he said the millions of beings that are with you. Just reminded me of being like a little girl when someone says something that just blows your mind. Whether you get a message in your ear, there's so many ways that we're supported, that we, from seeing around corners to knowing what someone's going to say. That's part of what happened in this magical evening at work when I drove a couple to a beach, and there's always a lot going on. So as you drive, and I had to be on the freeway for a bit, but I remember and trying to find the right beach. But I remember dropping them off, and just as I'm pulling away to go back to the hotel, I get a little voice. That's all I can, in the way I can describe it, that says, "Oh, I wonder if he's going to propose." And just as quickly it left, because I'm driving and it's a busy job. But a couple hours later, when I went to pick up this couple from the beach, what does she do? She climbs into the car with a big smile on her face, reaching her finger out to me to make sure I see her ring on her finger. And I knew it. It was that moment of, oh my God, I knew it. And it brings so much delight. It's almost like being tickled, because it's just a great feeling. And there was something else, and I don't remember at the moment. It might come through. But on those days, oh yes, it just popped in. So earlier in the day, I had taken a gentleman from somewhere in I don't know, United Arab Emirates. I don't know where that is, if it's a country or anyway. I had taken him into our little downtown, given him the little tour. His wife said, "Oh, you have to go see it." So maybe a half hour later, he called to be retrieved. And I just so happened to be, literally, as we were on the phone, he was just maybe 100 yards ahead of me. So as I'm driving, just before he could even say where he was for me to come get him, we saw each other. And we both hang up our phones, and he gets in the car and he just says, "That's magic." And it was. But what I'm sharing here is, I keep saying but, there's no but. There's each one of these experiences, it may seem small, but I cannot tell you how it brings me so much joy. I was so happy this whole day. I could feel it just beaming out of me. It's this, if you need a confirmation, I don't even want to say it's a confirmation. It's just the beauty of life and the beauty of each week as each one of us sits here and delivers something else just more amazing than the last time. And you go, how is that possible? The last time was so amazing. And then there it is again, and you're just in awe as the viewer, and here as the one speaking. It's like it's similar but different, because for me, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like the world, it's like myself, it's like everything is expanding and growing and getting richer. It's like life itself is just becoming so full. I already thought it was full, but it gets more full and more. Oh, it's like as long as I can remember, I've always loved color. And then in my 20s, I was invited to work with a company selling textiles to architects and designers. And I fell madly in love with my job because didn't even know it until I was invited there, but I loved working with textiles. The beauty, the colors, the texture. That's what this feels like. It's like the beauty, the colors, the texture of life. And it's getting more amazing, and it just keeps growing. And there's always something new that shows up, and there's always something that surprises you. It's brilliant. And it just popped in another. We have very well-known people that stay at our hotel. And one of them, I had to drive to the airport the other night, and he's known for his comedy and he makes lots of movies. He's kind of a goofball. But what I realized I appreciate about him is in his goofiness, at least from what I can see and what I feel. When you meet him in person, he wouldn't even sit in the back. He sat in the front with me, which is, as a house car driver, they usually sit in the back seat. Now he just sat right next to me. And I reflected for a moment, and then I had to say to him, I really appreciate how you can just be yourself, how you are just being yourself. And I don't know if I used the word successful. I don't think I did. I don't remember what word I used, but maybe you're doing so well, at least financially. He seems happy. You never know. But he was there with his family celebrating one of his daughter's birthdays, and he was leaving by himself. I was driving him by him, leaving his family behind. I was taking him to the airport to go off. But when I said that to him, he just said, I really appreciate that. And again, it was a moment, just a real moment of people with people. And it's so lovely. I just realized something. Again, it's hard to put it into words. It always seems to come back to a way that I've always been, in the sense of, well, one aspect is sensitivity. to other beings, people, animals, and this sensitivity to people that are famous even, and wanting them to have their space, if this is making any sense, and yet treating them like anybody else. It's something that just sort of, it's just how I am. But there's something bigger there that I don't know that I can put words to. But it's, again, something that just doesn't even bring me joy. It is the joy of being me. Those moments that are just so beautiful. I just find it really interesting that here, after all these years, my work is what it is, and how perfect it is at this moment in time. Because it's not that I don't need anything. It's just these moments of connection, and they've always been important in my life. It's like when Robert or Simeon talk about lighting up a star as you travel through the outer reaches of the universe. It feels like that, these moments. It's like little stars light up as you fly by, like Tinkerbell, the Tinkerbell fairy. That's what it, anyway. Wow, and the rain just quieted. You can feel it getting brighter, as if the sun's trying to come through the clouds. Even feeling the rain, or its nature. I'm feeling the trees. I'm feeling the sky. It just takes me out beyond everything with no effort at all. I feel like an eagle soaring in the fresh air. Looking over this beautiful planet Earth. All the beautiful beings that call it their home. As the glow and the sparkles emanate more and more from each being, I'm seeing heads turning, even to the point of an animal noticing a person, or just because they notice that spark, that beauty, that glow. When you do a double take because your eyes have just drifted past someone or something, and then takes you a second and you have to look back because you just go, wow. There's more and more of that happening, and it will continue as the beautiful beings of this planet that were meant to be here, that were meant to be their beautiful selves, whose biggest thrill in life is to make a difference in another's life, as we all continue to raise the set point and the standard of living here closer and closer and closer to where we have always known it was meant to be. So, with that, I send you all off like a flock of birds. I see you taking off into your own life, wherever that may take you. May every moment get lighter and brighter, more amazing, more fun, more full of laughter than ever before. And as you fly, I send off with you the most perfect life, perfect health, and most magic future. Thank you for joining me here today. I am Genya.